Okay, so I've got that and I've got that. All right. Let's double check. Of course, I have terrible connectivity with the cell towers, even though I'm less than a mile from at least a dozen of them, which leads me to believe that they are not actually cell towers. All right, let's cover up the computer. Groovy. Howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a wood turner. Welcome to the channel. It is Wood Turning Wednesday, and you may have noticed I've started a little early tonight, and that is because temperature is supposed to drop off really fast tonight. It's like 43 right now. It's supposed to be somewhere below 30 real quick. So I wanted to start early and not be out here in the shop without a heater when it's 30 degrees. I took the heater out because, well, in preparation for spring and summer showing up, but we've had the nighttime temps just kind of hang on and float around a little bit. So once again, for the next 2 days, we got a pretty good temperature drop at night. So here we are. Last night, I started working on this hollow form. And let me change the camera here. This bark inclusion, as you can see, kind of broke out a little bit there. And I need to have that rim of that hole continuous, not broken out. It'll give me vibration when I'm doing my back hollowing. So what I did was I tried to hit it with CA glue last night, but it was still too wet. So what I did was I covered all of it with a bag except for this area here, taped that off, and then I took this inside, hit it with CA glue twice. I also hit it on the inside to harden this bark up. I'm going to have to adjust the size of this hole to get this little breakout gone. It's got to be I've got to have this sidewall as a fulcrum, and every time this comes around and it hits that, I get a bump. And at 400 plus RPM, that's 400 times a minute. And I'm trying to, as I said, always avoid the vibration. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll open this up. And I just got to check a couple times while I'm going down so I can make sure I'm actually getting that and not going too much further. I don't want a huge hole there. Okay, that's pretty smooth. Still getting a little bit right here, but I'm hoping also to be able to remove this bark later, I think. So, on to hollowing. Now, I may have to adjust the height of this thing, perhaps. Because my spindle gouge is only so long. Let's see, is that breaking out some more? I don't think so. I just need to clean it up a little bit more. It seems all right. So I'm still getting a lot of vibration, way more than I want. And it is because of this bark. Can I stick my finger in that? Trying to see if I can stick a fingernail in that bark on the inside. Maybe I'll hit that with CA glue again. I can't really tell, so I'm going to go ahead and just do it. But yeah, that bark is breaking out a little bit. So let me go grab the glue. All right. And hit that too. Whoops, that was a little too much there. All right, set this aside. What's my depth here? Oh, not bad. I'll get pretty far down there. let's adjust this in the chuck here. Because all that vibration and pounding is kind of loosening this up. It is green wood. That's what I was afraid of. So you can see, yeah, the bark is just going to keep breaking out. So basically I have two options. And one of them is using the hollowing system. I'd still have to open this hole a little bit. Well, maybe a little bit more. I'd have to open this hole up for that. Or I can take this completely out. That's the problem, though. I really don't want to do that because trying to turn this into a box, I'm going to have to let it dry. I don't have another piece of this. Well, actually, I think I do. Could I do a shrink box? I think my biggest worry would be that I'd have to get a piece that is actually crotchwood so that it will, as it dries, move the same as this crotchwood. So I think a shrink box in this, and I don't have that crotchwood available. So this will not work as a shrink box. So I'm going to have to open it up a little bit, and I'll grab, well, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to have to get the hollowing system out, and we'll hollow that. I've got another project that I can do instead. And that should be wide enough. I might want to take it a little bit more. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, a little bit more. So that broken out bark that created this little dip, I just cleaned this up, which is cool. But there was a lot of rough patches on the inside because of the vibration of the tool on the outside, so it wasn't perfectly clean cuts. But I just cleaned that up. So what I'm going to do is take this off. I'll put it back in its bag, and I'll stream another night when I'm going to do this with the hollowing system. Let's mark this dude too, so I can get it back in the chuck, because I'm taking it off of the chuck. So it's already, it hasn't really moved that much. Just drying overnight, it hasn't moved that much, which is a good thing. So keeping it in the bag, and then it'll be nice and chilly out here for the next couple of days. Should seriously slow down the drying process. And as I look at this, I might want to, I don't know, I may, instead of leaving this a hollow form, I don't know, I might turn this into like a petty pumpkin, I forget what they call those, petty pumpkins, and carve it, and then create the stem and all that. I don't know, I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I was wanting a smaller entry hole than that. All right, we'll just tuck that dude away, wrap him up nice, slow down that drying process. Now, step over here. This might be really interesting. So what I figured on turning was a scalloped edged, petit four tray, little serviette tray. I need to seriously lower that now. I probably, no, this will be all right. So I need to make it round first, and then I will cut in the scallops, and then I will rotate this piece, and I will turn it, turn the finished piece. So let's grab this and this. I was able to tightened up my tailstock brake a little bit. So hopefully that'll help. All right, let's just start here. I'm not close enough. I don't like a lot of quill sticking out because it just creates vibration or opportunity for vibration when it's spinning. Okay, let's raise this up a bit. Now this piece is heavy enough that I should be able to find a balance point really quick. Oh, that's not going to make it around, is it? Well, let's raise it up and see what we got. Now I'm too heavy there. All right, so I may have to fire up the chainsaw really quick and cut this down to size a little. What have I got that I can use in lieu of this? Let's try that one there. Well, that's the balance point. It just won't get around this bit here. And when I cut that off, it's going to change the balance point. But you know what? The chainsaw should make really fast work of this. Oh, in fact, no, it's not put together. I was going to say I'll grab my electric chainsaw, but that's not what is going to happen. So We'll take a pause. I'll be right back. I'm going to step outside here, open up the door, and stick this on the chopping block. Okay. Let's see, I think it was that one. Yep. All right, we'll get this chainsaw started up. This won't take very long. Just like that. Okay. And I might be able to use that later, so we'll set that on a drying rack. And here we go. Alley-oop. There we go. Okay. Now we won't have any issues with impingement. Whoops. So I want to get as much of the vibration out as I can before I start. Move this side up a little bit. Now move this side up a little bit. Okay, take it back just a little bit. Let's see, throw some light on this so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Just going to be a little tweaky here and there. This is the most fiddly part of the whole thing. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Unless it moved out of it. No, it didn't move. Alright, so move this side up a bit. I wanted a little bit larger piece to do this with. Usually I'm using logs that are about 8 inches in diameter, which is a really nice size for these, but oh goodness gracious, man. Well, you know, scratch the hole. This ought to be quick. I think that will do it. Oh, it fell out of it. Come on. Okay, we'll call that the balance point. Stand put when I rotate it. So let's make this dude round once we get it nice and secure in here. Okay, I think that'll do. And I need to change to my longer tool rest. There we go. I don't think I can get the banjo underneath here yet. Yeah, that's not going to happen yet. But I can get out where everything clears. That'll be the long side. That should be another long side. Okay. All right. Cool beans. You know what? Now that I have those centers marked, it is more difficult for me to tighten this, break it down while this is attached to the lathe. So I'm going to slide it off the end and I'll be able to tighten that nut without all this other stuff in the way. Okay, there we go. Because I think it needs to be tightened just a bit. Let's try that. Oh yeah, I did like an eighth of a turn and that was plenty. Really fix up my shower curtain screen there. Move these guys back. And now that I have my centers already figured out, oh yeah, I can move that closer now. Come on. Excuse me. There we go. And that's the center there. Right? Yeah. Now that's going to give me a lot better hold on that. And I don't think that my tailstock is going to slide now. At least not very easily. Okay, there we are. Okay, that's going to be fine. That clears, and that clears. Okay. Started making this thing around. I wanted a larger little serving dish, so I thought it would be cool since I was able to pick this stuff up. That I could use one of these larger pieces. Come on, there we go. And I'm going to be running at 400 RPM. So not much vibration, always a good thing. If you feel more comfortable using a spindle roughing gouge, use a spindle roughing gouge. That clears, that clears. Let's get a little closer. Oh, that gets in the way. Okay. And slowly work it down to round. That one hit. Okay, cool. So that clears. And that clears. I got started roughing things out with spindle or with bull gouges because I believe in the philosophy that I don't want to have tons of tools up here on the bench that I've got to keep track of. I want to use the minimum amount of tools, which is a habit that I definitely picked up from my first mentor, and really served me well, I think. So the hundreds of dollars of tools that I have, which, that's just the way it goes. Tools are kind of spendy, at least the steel. I want it to be in tools that I'm actually going to use on a regular basis. And spindle roughing gouge, while I've had one in my arsenal, I guess, my toolbox, I never really used it all that much. I know that it is a fairly versatile tool too, and I have practiced with it, but again, I don't own one anymore. Still not round. But I might get away with, oh yeah, maybe. I might get away with that. Just making a larger piece. And you know, it's kind of fun sometimes to scale things up or down. Still definitely have those flat spots. And the bark too. That's not a bad thing. So we're looking at diameter here now. Well, bummer. So it's going to be only slightly larger than what I would normally make. But at least it'll be wider too. So we'll work with what we've got. I want to get rid of all these flat spots. I have decided, or just the one now, and this bark. See if that is deep enough. It's pretty close. Hey, now she's spitting water. So just a nice, relaxing pace. I'm only moving as fast as the tool can touch. And after this pass, it'll be time for me to change to fresh steel. Yeah, that's another benefit, I guess, of starting a little bit earlier. I'm going to get a little bit wet. Getting a little bit wet now. So I won't be out here being kind of damp and freezing temperatures. Okay. That's pretty well round. We'll go with that. Now let's see which way it wants to be. Oh man, I'm covered in sawdust as well as shavings. Unfortunately, where I'm making the pull cut, that wing is still sharp. I haven't used it very much. Alrighty then. I'm going to grab my paper tape here. Cloth tape. Whoops. Dropping things on the ground here. Alright, let's take a measurement here. What have I got? Okay, so I can get a 12-inch piece out of this maybe. Let's go for the shortest side. So, you know what? I'll take that stuff out. So this is where I will mark. So I'll have an 11-inch. Assuming all of those.
Map K14.
Hey, man.
Test test.
Howdy, howdy, man.
Map K14 said, hi.
How's it going today? Might need to take that in a little bit. I can shift this over. My sinuses have been overactive today. Holy moly. Okay, so the 11 is now here. Do that one. And that one. Roll this dude back up. Oh, come on. I'm not supposed to let it go while I'm rolling it up because then it'll just unravel, which just happened.
Map K14 said, busy, going away for the weekend and getting ready for it. Can't forget my favorite turner.
Hey, nice. Where you headed for the weekend, man? That's nice. I mean, I'm sure it's still chilly where you're at. You're closer to the snow belt than I am. Or the Canada, I should say. Which it still seems like they're getting some decent snowfall. Or at least still a little bit. Alright.
Northern Wisconsin to get things ready for the summer.
Hey, nice. Okay, I'll take this down to size now. Now, let's see what we got here. No apparent splits. Good deal. So I get rid of all those. So now this particular tree that I got this off of was almost 4 feet across. I think it was like 40 inches in diameter. Big maple tree. So I was able to cut up the stuff I wanted and remove the pith immediately. And that way, I don't have to worry about the pith as this is drying. And in theory, there will be fewer splits and cracks as it dries. So I'm checking for splits on this end now. I think I'll just turn until they're gone. I'm really close to my line. Am I flat? I'm already flat too. So let's do another quick check because I don't want any splits to be there for the drying of this piece. And let's take that off that. There we go. Get that flat. Of course, I should have had that view on, but I didn't, so back to here. Let me blow this stuff off. And since I'm on this side, we'll grab that tool steel I need. Okay, that's that guy. So now I need to run a bunch of beads. This is going to be the scalloped edge of this thing. Actually, before I do that, I can use this guy. Yeah. Before I do that, we'll do a little scraping. It's more to take the pencil marks off than anything. Almost. But it will help later on with any kind of sanding I might have to do. Okay, that's gone. Get this side. As you can see here, I'm using an unhandled tool. This is a very safe cut to make. I'm only cutting on the bottom wing. The top wing is not touching the piece, but it's close. I want to leave a gap down there so I can see right where that bottom wing is making contact. Very safe tool, can't get a catch. Even if the top wing was to touch like that, no catch. Got to remember, one of the main rules is you don't want both wings to touch the piece, the rotating piece. That'll work. That's a recipe for a catch. So let's start with this guy. Nope, wrong way. What, did it fall off? I'm missing a tool, and I don't know what happened to it. I think it fell off the other side. But I don't readily see it. That's because it fell sideways and got covered by shavings. Okay. So, spindle gouge. And let's see, maybe I'm a little tall there. How about now? A little too far down. There we go. All right. like running beads this way. I'm only going one direction and I don't have to keep swapping back and forth. This is something that you can learn as well. It takes practice. You got to be willing to lose a couple of pieces till you get it down. Or alternatively, you could just use some scrap and practice that way, and then it wouldn't matter if you toss it into the burn pile. And if you have one, another cool thing I was able to. Actually, I saw this sort of. Yeah, I did see this done on Instagram. Man, I'm trying to remember who. It may have been Jack Mack Woodturning. I don't know. He was doing the outside of a bowl, beaded. And I thought that was pretty cool. He was going just one direction, so I watched how he was doing it, and I said, "Hey, I can do that." And with a little bit of practice, I found out I was right. And I think I can say with confidence that if you learn these techniques and you practice them, you're going to get better at them. I don't like using it, that whole cliched, if I can do this, anybody can do this kind of stuff. But, I mean, with wood turning, it's pretty much the case. This is not, you're seeing my particular techniques, what works for me, but all in all, take it down to the most basic level. The difference is what tools I'm using and how I'm getting it done. Not that I can't, because I think that anybody can do this with the right instruction and the right practice. And I know that you typed something in the chat there, Mav, and I haven't responded to it yet, but I'll get to it. What I'm trying to do here is limit the amount of sanding I've got to do. And go back the other way. Oopsie daisy. Didn't mean to touch that. I didn't mean to touch it there. So clean that up. Plus, not just the weather starting early. I may wind up doing that actually on a regular basis on Wednesday nights. Let's just start a little bit earlier because this year I am spending my Thursdays at the Grand Traverse Butterfly House and Folk Zoo, talking to people about pollinators, helping them with bees, helping with the tours and stuff, and I get to learn a lot more about some other kind of insects. We have some really cool animals out there this year. Out here, tomorrow will be my first day. Strictly, well, come on. One thing I didn't look at, which I need to, is how many of these beads I have now. Let's see. 1, 2. Oh, I could clean that one up. And thought I got them, but I didn't. And since I'm essentially doing the same thing here, I'm scraping. Um, very safe. I don't need a handle. But go with what you're comfortable with. Just so happens that for me, I'm comfortable doing it this way. And it started, this one, using this technique with bowl gouges and doing scrapes and shear scrapes on, the outside of bowls and stuff. And it just kind of led to this, at least for me, natural progression into using other tools to do the same job. I want to be able to turn a complete piece with the tools that I've got on hand without having to run around and try to locate or have too many tools on the lathe. 1, 2, 3. We're going for the middle guy. And there isn't one, but there is a middle line, and I'm going to mark that. I think I will. I was going to go for like one middle bead, but I think I'll go with this instead. Okay, so I need to. Well, I can clean that up. Okay. So I want this bit
Matt K14
to be in
said,
the foot.
I had a nice fine thought I had to empty dishwasher and it still needs to be filled.
There we go. Oh yes, maintaining the living space. It feels like the temperature's dropping quick. Yeah. Freeze warning tonight. All right, so whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to take that back in there because I need to mark You know what? I am going to remove a bead. And I don't need this guy now. So I'm going to remove a bead so that I have... That's not going to matter really either. That's going to be the bottom of the foot. It's not going to show. It's actually going to be carved away. So I can leave it as it is. Okay. Alright, then I still don't need that big dude. I'll use my 6-inch center tool rest here. And I see that I could clean this up. Alright, so that's going to be the bottom. Because that's just not... Well, let's see. That part would show in the top. None of this will show in the bowl because it doesn't go deep enough. But that would show in the top. I'm going to put that on the foot. And then I will mark my halfway or my... There we go. And then go 6 around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll go 6 again just to make sure I got it right the first time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay. So now that is where I need to set a point. And that is where I need to set a point. And for the rest of this, yeah, let's turn this down. Get rid of these tenons. I'm going
Map
to
K14,
my center
set,
here.
Cheer 30.
Hey, hey! Cheers to you. Nice. Can't remember the head. Oh, let's see. Actually, I've got some mead in the fridge I might be able to tap into if I feel like having a libation. Take down this other tenon. Actually, before I do that, that's where I'll have to cut that one. Not quite right. Cool beans. You know, I think, let's see if I'm spinning that. Oh yeah, this will be just fine. I don't need the the big guy for what I'm gonna do next. Let's move this over here. There we go. I like these flush cut saws for stuff like this, man. It's pretty much the the main saw I use with my turning. Really is this flush cut saw. I'm pretty sure I got it from Lowe's for like $10, and it's put in a lot of time, and it's been a really nice saw. This tenon is a lot bigger because I had this head compared to that head right there. There we go. And that can go in the bucket. Dear Liza, you know what? I want to check one thing really quick just to make sure. But I think my compressor might be toast. Well, it's got power, but I may have to replace this control mechanism again. Okay, so no. No compressor. All right, so this is going to be my foot. Well, now that was just silly. Okay, that will be along the side then. Okay, no problemo. Let's see, which side do I want up? That one or that one? I will take that one to be up. So we'll put the point there. Oh, I'll need to move this. Alright. That point goes there. And that point goes there. Well, that's wild. That shouldn't be heavy on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'd be 13. 2, 4, 13. I'm in the right spot. Okay. It is a green piece of wood. Water content in it is not equal all the way through. Come on. See if my tailstock is slipping. All right. There. Okay, we are now secure. Let's see. I want to go that way into the side of the tree for an easier cutting experience. Whoopsie daisy, that's not good. I don't want that to make contact. Huh. You know, look at this. That is a full bead. Okay. I'm going to make a minor adjustment here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Right there. Right there. Yep. Now, I might see a little bit better balance. So let's take a look on the banjo here where that actually hits on the piece. And it's about equal. Okay. So that means that I should have less vibration, of course. And these marks where the centers are going in will be turned away so they won't show. Okay, that's my top, this is the bottom. I need the bowl gouge. And I also need to make sure that all this is going to clear. So that's going to clear. Okay, now I want it straight. That's going to clear, that's going to clear. All right, still at 400 RPM, which, I mean, I mention it. People are always asking me, like, what speed you turn that at, like they need to match it. And my answer is, you don't need to match my speed. You need to work at the speed that's comfortable for you. I don't turn things at 3,000 RPM. I don't find it necessary. I'm working right now at the slowest speed on my lathe, mostly because this dude is a big honking propeller. Look at that. That's awesome looking, man. Isn't that cool? That'll be a good sized foot. is still going to clear, yeah. How close can I get? All right, like right there. Tra-la-la. That'll do. Definitely spitting water. Now I need to get down a good flat spot that I can make a tenon for. But I want the foot to be a little wider than, say, this. Yeah, so I'll take that down a little more. Yeah, that'll work. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work fine. So I'm going to do things a little different here. A little backwards, actually, but that's okay. Now let's move this guy. Come on, move. I think I probably should have done it this way to start, but this will be all right. Nope, don't hit that switch yet. Do I really want to do it that way? You know what? No, I don't. No, I don't. All right, come on out. Gently, gently. this guy. Ooh. There. Things are a little bit tight right here. Let's move some things aside. There we go.
Mav K14 said, nice craftsmanship.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, that should be the right size. It is not. Ah! Okay. It's just a tad bit too big. So, back between centers we go. Darn it. I don't know if you can see all that water and all that sap water and dust here on the lathe. Get that off there before it really starts to want to rust. Okay. Move it. You got to move it. Okay, that should be good. So let's make this guy a little smaller. All right, that should fit in the chuck now. Come on. I use the smaller jaw set on my Vicmark a lot more often than the larger jaw set. But it would be nice to have, I say, to have another Vicmark chuck with the larger jaws so that I wouldn't have to. Although maybe just taking the time to measure it might be. Okay, that's not going to bottom out. So that works. Okay, you stay there for a sec. There we go. And we'll use the lathe to seat it into the chuck. Why not? There's a whole lot more force there than anything I could do. And still have a hand or two free to do this. Alas, I was not. Kind of silly to say. I was not born an octopus. Come on. Oh, that's not going to clear. since that will be down. That will clear, that will clear. All right. Stop. I think I want it. Well, no, we'll just do the whole thing. Alright, let's flip around to this side then. Come on. Ah! No, it's on the wrong side. Okay, that still will not clear, so we gotta get this dude turned up some more. Yeah, it's starting to look like what I'm after. And I think it's really important to learn how to be a little ambidextrous on the lathe, because sometimes there's spots that you just can't quite get to. And being able to just swap hands makes it that much easier. That clear? Yes. Okay. It's really spitting water now. That will all clear? Okay. Just about there. There we go. That will not quite clear there. Come on. Yeah, there we go. And now I'm just going to refine that shape. I think, well, I'm going to work on the curve a little bit more. Come on. Oh, that's right. Gets in its own way. Okay. Come on, alley-oop, let's go. Well, looks like swap tool rests again. There we go. Move all that back. Let me double check my hold on this piece. Hello. All right. Where's my mark? There it is. Bit of a catch. Mistake on my part. And sometimes they can be, I don't know, it can seem a little frustrating, but I know that I'm not the only one in the world that occasionally happens to. And I want to move my tool rest in some. There we go. Oh boy. Aha! Alright, it is now time to cut another tenon, but I'm going to, let's see if I can do it this way. Try to give myself a little hold in here. Will that work? Nope. Okay, then in that case, we'll have to fix that tenon. So I know that that's my center point right there. So I'm going to mark that now. Let's get this guy out of the way for a sec. Put it over there for now. Let's grab this guy. So many things to move. This is why I don't like having so many tools up too. If I gotta move stuff, I gotta move everything. And I want to limit that as much as possible too. All right, let's get this water off of here. Sit, Ubu, sit. Stay. Good dog. And I still got this center happening. Ta-ta-ta. Come on. Come on. Now this guy can go back on. My sleeves are fairly wet. Wrong tool. A little low. There. What? Now, how is that possible? That's odd. How is that possible? That's very strange. How is that even possible? Okay, here we go again. Oh, let's shift it in the chuck and see if that makes a difference. That's really strange. Same thing. That's really odd. That should not be like that. I think I need to try to figure out why, so I don't do it again. It's very strange. I'm reasonably certain okay, just move. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay. Okay, everything is now stable. Still not. Just a skosh off. That'll do. Well, that explains it then. Okay. Whoops. And of course, I forgot. There we go. That should work out. It is possible because I goofed it up. That's why. Come on. You are in the way. And one more check here. Got a little bit more. All right. Wrong tool. A little too low. Hey, get back here. All right, I want to check this wall thickness. It needs to go down a little bit more. It's almost even. There we are. Okay. Whoa, no, now. What in the world? Okay, that should be okay. So that's not going to clear. That's going to clear. That's going to clear. Really want that closer. Okay. It's kind of nice. I can see the tool. Let me see. You should be able to see this overhead, right? Yeah, I think you can see that. Although I will need to dry that off. Camera's getting sprayed. All right. Let's try that. So when I'm looking through the ghosting here, I can see the tool down inside. So I can follow the wall thickness a little bit better. Okay. He's close. Just a little bit low on the tool rest. There we go. That's going to clear. Not quite. There we go. Come on, get in there. There you go. Yeah, oops, that's right. We got to get past that. Alright, so I'll back that off about that far. And then I can rotate that in a little bit. Okay. A lot of shavings today. Nice. And now I'm going to swap this guy out, I think. Let's see if this will work or not. Too close. Nope, it's not going to work. Okay. Alright, so that's going to clear there. And that's going to clear there. And this needs to be up higher. Like that. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to grab my negative rake scraper. I'm going to dress the edge on it. How are we looking now? Better. A lot better. Okay, that might be. Let me take that. Down just a little bit more. All right, that'll sand out. So I think it's pretty close to being dry enough to sand even, so maybe not the outside, but the inside maybe. Which would be lovely. We'll have to do it as a friction sander, which is fine, since I don't currently have a working compressor. Let's do that. Let's see. That's not a rounded. And that's not either. Let me see. I think I've got a backup pad. Right over here, maybe? Okay, that's a no. Nope. You're going to tell me it's not that bag? Okay. There we go. Back up. And do I want to go through all that? Yeah, sure, why not? I want that to stay. Alright, let's see, I need that. I'm hoping that, what am I hoping? That I can spin that on there really quick. Let's see. Where are those tools? That's for the die grinder. Might work. I think this particular wrench might be the right one. Whoop, hey. That's too small. We'll move on to that one. Also too small. We'll move on to that one. Hey, bingo. Come on, get up there. I'll spin this guy on. You there, come on, get moving. And I will, whoops, that's too far on that side. I will need some light here. Yeah, it didn't fill up the sandpaper. Nice. Although I gotta tell you, having a compressor is a handy thing. That's toast. Excuse me. And a little bit more down here. Okay. A little bit right here. And that better work. Pretty good. It's not exactly what I'm after, but let's swap the abrasive real quick. Not for that guy, for this guy. See what fresh abrasive in another pass will do. And you know what? I should be wearing a mask. Well, that's a lot of water. Okay. Whoops. Come here. Time of Florida's a mask. Well, lost that piece of abrasive, so we'll get another one. Okay, that's better. Cool. All right, now to put this guy back on. Whoa, Nelly. Come on. All right. Put that guy away. That guy there. like the grain of that walnut. That's really pretty. Okay. Don't need that going right now. I'll take this guy.
Schmo said, nice looking Art Deco bowl.
Hey, how you doing, man? Been a while. In fact, it'll be just a couple of days. I'll see you again at the Turning Club. I was going to call you today, but I got sidetracked. Hey, I actually don't need to wear that right now since I'm done sanding. It's been a few minutes. Talk to you about the trip to the airport since your bridge is washed out. But I can talk to you about it Saturday. Okay, I want to move this guy first. And then... So this is a piece of that maple we got at Ken's place. And this is the biggest one of these I've ever done. Usually it's an 8-inch span, and this is, well, 12. Okay, let's center that, and we'll center that. We're going to use this as the drive. Move. Move. Come on. A la Rudy Lopez, yeah?
Schmo said, we can get walnut from Marv tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, Mark. Marv called me and said he was grabbing some, so I'm confused now. I guess there's more than one source for walnut tomorrow. Is that how it is? Marv said he was bringing some up too. So I thought it was all Marv. Which Mark are we talking? Yeah, I thought it was a Marv thing. But hey, man, walnut. Yes, please. I could use some more walnut. Where's my little guy? There you are. This is like the best place for this tool rest. Right-handed, right-angle tool rest. I can get right up in there. Very nice. All right, let's move these aside. There. Huh. It's not quite what I was after. Okay, that guy needs to go down a little bit. That'll work, I think. I wonder if I can get this maybe down just a little bit more. Oh, I went too far, didn't I? But that's looking pretty close to running true, so I'm going to go with that and not worry about this since I'm going to turn that away anyway. All right, let's make sure that I have this set in here properly. I just want enough pressure where I can't easily turn this guy. That'll do. I don't want too much force going into the wood pushing into the bowl there, it might leave a mark. Get this wet.
Mav K14
Or
said,
now dried
OMG
off.
face screaming in fear. It only gets better.
Face screaming in fear. I love this speech chat. It just describes these emoticons in interesting ways. Face screaming in fear. All right, I'm going to back off of this a little bit. And it's all going to clear. Up. You know what? It's time to sharpen that spindle gouge. She does not want to just cut through there like butter. So we need to sharpen it. I am not going to fight this dude. I don't want to fight the turning. I want to have an enjoyable time. That looks about right.
Mav K14 said, is it just possible now?
Just about right.
Mav K14 said, fabulous everyone.
What the? All right. We're just about there. Come on. I'm a stickler on shape. I know what works for me. I want my tools to have that shape that I know works for me. Oh. My tool wasn't straight in the little jig, so now I've got to grind off a lot more steel than I was intending to. Okay, just about there. And I messed up the profile basically. Having a hard time on this right now because my eyes aren't working right. Alright, that should be okay right there. Yeah, sorry, I'm not right in front of the computer. Couldn't really understand what the thing was saying. Isn't that the wood is just buckled or bucked? I am not sure what you mean by buckled or bucked, to be honest. If you could explain that, I might be able to answer the question. That should work. Oh yeah, now we're cutting. Oh, I mean, I guess so. Really, it's the tool was just really dull, so it wasn't cutting through the wood very nicely. And so, like it is right now, it's doing just fine right now. But on some of this, I am going against the grain. Tree runs this way, so I really need to cut this way. But down here at the very bottom, or rather on this curve here, I'm cutting uphill to the fibers a little bit. And with that tool being dull, it did not like that. So do I need to be any thinner than that? No, this is a wider piece. I think that's actually pretty all right. Okay. Tool. Well, maybe it would help if I just moved the actual tool rest and not the banjo. Although now the banjo is going to be in the way. I need that angle. Okay, cool. I can get it now. all this water is making a paste that is kind of difficult to maneuver through. Okay. I'm going to do this now. Let's raise this up. There we go. And that little bit in there. Just enough pressure that like I'm just barely squeezing the water out of the surface of this thing, so it's like a really light touch. And it's not that I'm trying to squeeze the water out, but that is the amount of pressure. The best way I could do to describe it is that it's just enough to actually get water out. Okay, that's looking mighty fine. Full gouge again. So the best cut on this would be into the side of the tree. Oh, let's see. Let me finish this cut first. Nope, wrong side. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, get up there. You can do it. Come on, get up there. Groovy. All right, before I go any further, I want this guy. I don't know that this will be dry enough yet, but and it is not. It's interesting that the outer part is just remaining a lot wetter than the inner part right now. Okay. So as far as this tenon goes here, I can just cut this off. I can grind that and sand that in a bit. Do I like it? I mean, yeah. I think the foot ratio, it's not bad. Okay, let's try this. Come on. There you go. Yeah, that's just way too wet. So that's going to have to wait. But I do think if I can locate my tool rest again. Is that going to clear? Yes. Okay, very good. Still going to clear? Yep. Oh, yes. This is why I like negative rake scrapers, man. I can't go back over this with a bowl gouge. And I don't have a working compressor, so we'll use this tool and clean all that up. And then a little bit on the very outside here. Nope. Okay, that will clear, that will clear. Nice, that'll do it. A little bit of minor sanding when this dries. Nice. I accept. Thank you very much. What do I do with it? There it is. The saw, Dave. Where'd you do with the saw, Dave? All right, so I'm gonna look this over first. Let's see, I've got some issues here, which is kind of a drag, but with scalloped edges, it kind of, so I've got a little bit of work to do here with Dave, come on, with the micromotor, yes. Just to clean up this here a little bit. And looks like a little bit here too. But that should clean up really nicely. So in the meantime, I don't see anything else that I need to address. Before I remove the center. All right, clearly. You know how it goes when you think you've got something locked in place, and then you realize that it actually wasn't locked in place? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. There. Move that, put that back, move that over there, put these over here, scoop those, put this back. The litany of things that need to happen. Okay, there we are. That's a nice serving bowl, I think. So it's got a very nice shape. I like the curves here, how they blend together. Got a little bit of work to do on the underside, but not much. So that's pretty groovy, man. The biggest one I've turned has been about like that. So I guess that would be, yeah, about 8 inches. And this is about 12. So I haven't done one that big yet. That's nice. And I didn't have the material to do it with anyway. But now I do. So thank you, Ken Hunter. Thank you, Joe, for working with me there, chopping all this stuff up and then hauling it across town. That's very cool. And that was one of the pieces that I cut. Let's get these dust off of here. Boy, I'm having trouble. What is the, come on. Wow. Boy, I hate it when that happens. I had cut it up to make hollow forms. And most of the time when I turn these, it's out of a log. So the pith is actually running through it at some point in the wings here. You can see the pith. And usually they hold together really well. But this one, I was thinking about it earlier today, going, wow, if I had one that didn't have any pith, I think that would look pretty cool. So I did make the width of this foot a little bit smaller, or the thickness of that foot a little bit smaller than the thickness of this. So I hope that doesn't take away from how it looks. But I think that's nice. It's a nice server. I'm happy with it. And I'll be taking it off into turning club land on Saturday. We'll see how it dries, and I'll take it in Saturday. That's one I haven't, like I said, I haven't done one that large on this lathe. The biggest I can do is 13 and a half, and you can see if I get this centered, that's about centered right there. So what is that, an inch and a quarter away from the way? So that's 12 inches right there. Very, very cool. All right. Well, I can already, I've been feeling it. I can still feel it, and I'm going to continue to feel it until I get out of it. So I started early. Whoops. Because the temperature is going to be dropping pretty quick, and getting down to freezing, and the weather prognosticators are saying somewhere in the neighborhood of 27 degrees in some places around here tonight, midnight or so. And I'm normally done around 11 o'clock, so I knew I would be pushing that temperature around the map, I guess, if I started out here at that time. So I started a little early tonight for that reason, because I took the heater out of the garage in anticipation. I cleaned out the garage too. Oh, I don't want that. A little bit, got some of the shavings out, stuff like that when the weather was nice. But for the next 2 nights, the temperature is going to be down to the low 30s or below. And I didn't want to be out here in it because the heater's gone. So, and I'm like looking down, thinking you're seeing what I'm doing while I'm on camera, but it's the wrong camera. Cleaning things up. All right, so yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. A little bit of sanding to do and a little bit of cleanup here, but yeah, that's nice. That came out well. So, having said that, I'm going to wrap it up this evening. Now I know, what is it, 9:15 after 9. So I started early, and even so about what 2.5 hours I think it's been. Anyway, doesn't matter. I want to thank you all very much for joining this evening, for the support that you give me, participating in chat, lurking in the background maybe, or definitely watching the video. You're tuned in, you're following, maybe you're subscribing too. That all is very, very helpful. Any activity in the chat certainly alters the algorithm. I want to reach as many people as I possibly can, because I enjoy this so much, and I know, I mean, I've been turning for what, 8, 9 years now. Been been around a little bit. I mean, I'm not, old timer or whatever, but I see so many people struggling and like fighting the whole process and white knuckling it, and that's not turning, man. That's like abusing the shit out of yourself. Turning is mostly finesse, and the secret sauce is practice. It's not brute force. It's sharp tools and know-how. And the only way you get there is through practice, practice, practice. I say it all the time, and I'm going to continue to say it because there is no shortcut. It's unfortunate. I'd love to take the shortcut myself. But, the time behind the lathe is pretty valuable too. And the more you drive it, or the more, yeah, the more you have windshield time, you know how that goes. The more you have the windshield time, the better you get at it. In theory, anyway, it depends on whether or not you're following the things that you have been taught, and you really need to find a good, competent turners to learn from. I teach here in Traverse City. Lyle Jameson teaches here in Traverse City. I'm not really aware of anybody else that really has anything out this way, other than the two of us. So if you're in the area and you'd like to take some classes, hey, give me a shout. I'd love to work with you. Maybe I can help you change the way you turn, make it nicer for you, make it easier on your body. That's the whole idea. I want to be able to get that start of that muscle memory building in there, working within your muscle body mechanics, your muscle memory. Everybody's different. Everybody has different ranges of motion and all that. So there's no one cookie cutter resolution to everything. It just doesn't work out that way. Now, granted, in most classes, when you have a group of people together, and it's important that you do this too, but the instructor, whoever that may be, will demonstrate a technique, and in order to learn that, you have to follow that demonstration and work it that way. Once you get that down, then you can start making it yours and moving your body mechanics and how it works for you. And that's where I like to play. I like to play and work with people on those things and make it where it's a more pleasurable time at the lathe, and maybe work it into where you're not just a once in a while turner. Who knows? Don't know. But I do know that speed doesn't make you a better turner. I know that what does make you a better turner is practice. So don't get hung up on lay speeds, but definitely get some competent instruction. Practice, practice, practice. And then once you get it down, make it your own. Get your own body mechanics in there, and work that tool how it works for you, because it's different for everybody. Anyway, having said all that awesome, fun stuff, I want to thank you again for supporting me in this channel. I hope you all stay friendly, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back again next Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see what I'm going to turn then. I don't know. This was just an adjunct kind of idea, a side chick, I guess. It was my side chick today. Because the bark on that this holoform here, I couldn't get it to accept enough CA glue, and even though still tried to crumble away, and I couldn't complete the back hollowing with a spindle gouge because the outer rim, or the inner rim of the hole that I'm going through, was not round. It gave me too much vibration. So I'll have to break out the hollowing system for that and finish it off that way, which is fine. That's just not a big deal. It's just a little bit of extra setup, but not what I was planning to do tonight. So since I got to that stopping point, I went to my side chick, and that's where we stand today. All right. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, folks. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Good night.